Hey man, this is Chris the Phone Cats, and we're taking a look at the Sky and Scale green and blue deck. I actually earned the unlocks for this one instead of spending 99 cents to get it instantly, which is just, I don't know, such a like a greedy, not greedy, but such a weird move. I don't know, it was really fun to unlock and like earn the deck in a weird way, and each victory actually like meant a little bit something more, so it made me play better. But yeah, let's get this going, and we'll start out in normal casting cost order. This is multicolor, it's green-blue. You do have a decent amount of land grabs, and I'm playing with just about all of them. So I have all 4 of the Terramorphic Expanses, and that's normally like a turn 1 play, because I only have 2 things that cost 1 mana. And even if you're playing with all the 1 casting costs, they're only creature buffs or creature removal, so it's kind of like this weird limbo. Alright, Pongify. 1 mana, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated, and that creature's controller puts a 3/3 green ape into play. Kinda weird that it's a blue spell and it puts a green creature, and I don't even know what the significance is with the monkey, so someone feel free to explain that. You can use this on any like power creature your opponent has, or you can even use it on your coiling oracle if you're playing some aggro-y build, or it's just really situational, like if you're playing against a mill deck and they don't have any power creatures out or something like that. Okay, right now I'm not playing with the groundswells, which seems to be some kind of like faux pas or something that's going to get frowned upon. When your opponent's attacking, you can give one of your creatures +2/+2, or if you're on the aggro side, you can play a land and then groundswell and it gives something +4/+4. I don't know, it's kind of weird, just one of these like, I view it better than a giant growth, but I don't know, I'm not really playing like an aggro build, I'm kind of playing off the fable of wolf and owl thing, but let's keep this moving. I'm playing with all 4 Coiling Oracles and all 4 of the Terramorphic Expanses, and that's just my land screw prevention. For some reason, almost every time that I play this dude, my next card is a land, and I don't know. I mean, I'm playing with a 61 card deck, and I have 21 of the lands right here, if you can't even see that. 11 forests, 10 islands. And then with those other 4, I guess I'm playing with 25 lands. So, I don't know. That's a chunk of them. It's a cool card, though. 1 blue, 1 green, and you do a land grab from the top of your library. If it's not a land, here if you want to actually read it, then you draw a card. So it's kind of akin to the green deck's land grab, or just 2 mana for a 1/1 where you draw a card, which is fine by me. We'll touch base more on those dudes, because they kind of become like this weird combo mechanic or backbone of the deck in a weird way. Right now I'm playing with 3 Gaia Skyfolk, 2 mana for a 2/2 flyer, and then in the other 2 spot, you can play with a couple of these Jazian Infiltrators, which is 2 mana for a 2/2 that's just straight out unblockable. So if you're thinking that you're going to need to do some chump blocking from flyers, you want to gear more towards these, because they both have evasion, so to each their own. Right now I'm playing with 3 of the Gaia Skyfolk and 1 Infiltrator, just to kind of test the mix out. More 2-drop stuff. You can play with a Regrowth. It honestly didn't work out for me. I mean, I know it's such like a godly card from back in the day, but I'm not messing with it right now. Quest for Gemblades is pretty cool. 2 mana, and then whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to another creature, you can put a quest counter on Gemblades, and then you can remove the quest counter and sacrifice it, and then you put 4 +1/+1 counters on target creature. This doesn't work out in the crazy way that you may instinctively think at first, or if you get like 5 counters on it, then you sacrifice it and remove all 5 counters, and then put, what is that, 5 times 4, 20 +1/+1 counters. So it's not like that one card in the green and white deck, where it does a lot of stuff. I might be getting things mixed up. Okay, let's keep this rolling with the 2-drops. I'm playing with the Valdelkin Heretic, and I haven't really gotten too much play with him yet, so I'm still trying to feel it out. It's 1 green, 1 blue for a 1/1, and whenever it actually hits your opponent, you may draw a card. So it's kind of this like reverse, funky opposite of a Hypnotic Spectre. And I don't know, I like it right now. I could see it being more, I don't know, doing combos, or not really like combos, but just stuff with groundswell, because people are going to be very, I don't know, they're just going to be against this actually hitting them, so they're going to try to like chump block it. So we can play with Quest of Gem Blades a little bit, but now we're talking about combos with only one of each card. So let's keep this going here. 3 drops are kind of weird, and almost as bad as the 4 drops. Oh, I just want to start bitching about the 4 drops. For 3, you have Claustrophobia. 2 blue, 1 colorless. Enchanting creature gets tapped, and then enchanting creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So if they do some mechanics, if you're playing the red-white deck and they do something to untap their creature, they get to attack again, because this doesn't make the creature tap during its upkeep or anything like that. And any creature that still has activated abilities like Gristlebrand, or that's all I really can think of right now, they can still use the ability. So it just takes a creature out of attacking or blocking. If it has some kind of untap trick, it's going to be a constant threat. I'm playing with all 3. I just feel like I need a little bit more control for, I don't know, my play style, or the people that play on iPad mostly. More 3-drop stuff is Trigon Predator. Right now I phased it out for something. It's a 3 mana, 2/3 flying, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. I liked playing with it for a little bit and would normally hack off a medallion or some kind of like equipment or something along those lines, but there's only one of them in the deck, so it's kind of hard to get too excited or give it so much credit. Alright, Lower Scale Coddle. It's 3 mana for a 2/2. Whenever you draw a card, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. So all these card draw mechanics. Do you even actually draw a card? See, that's so lame that Coiling Oracle doesn't actually let you draw a card, like the way they word it. Anyways, so every time you draw a card, this dude gets +1/+1. So you can kind of view it as that white creature in the white deck. Wherever you gain life, it gets +1/+1. Just because, I don't know, I feel like this deck has a lot of card draw in it. Sometimes it'll get out of control. It's almost like removal bait, just because people will just get it out of the picture really quick. Okay, here's something that I kind of debate about. You can play with the 3 mana Wistful Selkie, and it's 3 mana for a 2/2. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So it fits into the draw mechanic. Or you can play with this Selkie Hedge Mage. It's 3 mana for a 2/2, and then whenever it comes into play, if you have 2 or more forests, you gain 3 life. So that kind of does a little bit of I don't know, it messes up goblins a little bit. And then whenever it comes into play, if you control 2 or more islands, you return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. And that makes me almost feel like it's almost akin to the, what is it? No, not Mildeck. Is it Mildeck that has the 3 mana bounce dude? It might be, I don't even know. But either way, if you draw this late game, you're going to gain 3 life and bounce something that's tapped. And that's you playing it on turn 4, hoping that you have 2 islands and 2 forests out. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. It's kind of a weird spot. I like the bounce. I like being able to bounce a creature back. I don't know. Okay, we're getting close to the 4 drops. I'm going to wait a little bit before bitching about Assault Zeppelin and Omnibian. This deck is so weird. Snake Form, 3 mana, instant. Target creature loses all abilities and becomes a 1/1 snake until end of turn. And you draw a card. I would play with more of these if I could. They're attacking, you turn their beefy creature into a 1/1, has no abilities. So if it was one of those, what are they called? So if they had some kind of liege out that was pumping up all their dudes, you snake form it and then chump block it if they were attacking with it. There's only one of these in the deck, but people will already be basing their play off of you holding a snake form or holding this winged Codal. This one's 3 mana for a 1/1 flash flying death touch. So on your opponent's turn, whatever their fatty is, if you have mana open, if they're like well versed on this deck, they're going to be expecting this, and they'll probably play accordingly. Like sometimes they won't even attack with their best creature just because they're afraid of you busting one of these out. I mean, you can play it at the end of your opponent's turn and then attack with it if you're in some kind of like super close game, but normally it's a chump blocker, like a surprise chump blocker with the flash. There's only 2 of them, but it's fine. Alright, we're getting to the forecasting cost, so let the bitching begin about Assault Zeppelin. This card is so mediocre, it drives me crazy. The art's kind of cool, it's like a flying Baneling kind of, but I don't even know. People get excited because if you actually get your Merc Fiend Liege out, it's a 5/5 flying trample. But it's just so weird. It just seems like such a mediocre card. The fact that it's a common phases me even more. I don't know, I'm so partial to that. If it was rare, I would be like excited. If it was a 4/3, I would be excited. If it was a 3/4, I would probably play it. But just something about a 4 mana for a 3/3 flying trample is so meh. I think right now you can't even see, but I only have 2 4-drops in my little card breakdown. So that's kind of an issue. Here's what I am playing with in the 4-drop. I'm playing with the Mystic Snake, which is the counterspell 2/2. So it's 4 mana flash, and when it enters the battlefield, counter target spell. I like it. It took me a long time to earn it, so I'm playing with it right now. And I'm playing with the Sower of Temptation. 4 mana flying, when it enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature as long as the Sower remains on the battlefield. It's going to get removed. People are going to do something to it, but I don't know. Just 4 mana for a 2/2 with like a control magic. Is that what that card was? That old school card where you like mind controlled one of their creatures? I'm not playing with the Omnibeans either, and the more I scroll, the more mediocre the cards get. Omnibeans, 4 mana for a 3/3, and then you can tap it and target creature becomes a 3/3 frog until end of turn. It really sucks that you have to tap it. I don't know. 4 mana for a 3/3, and it has that where it just transmogrifies, or just, what's the right word? Just turns something into a frog. Just seems meh. The worst of the 4-drops. Jesus. Simic Ragworm. 4 mana for a 3/3. Pay 1 blue to untap it. This is one of the first things that I shifted out of my deck, but it was weird when I had to play with it initially. Oh, those 4-drops, they phase me. I mean, I just feel like this deck doesn't have enough good cards in it. And it's probably because there aren't any of the, what are they called? The premium unlocks, like those extra cards that I wanted. I don't know why it says I only have 29 unlocks. Is that bad? Whatever, we'll keep moving. You can play with 2 Acidic Slime. Right now I have them phased out. You know these guys. 5 mana for a 2/2, Death Touch. Whenever it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. Yeah, I mean, I took them both out because I was playing with the Trigon Predator, and now I'm not even playing with that, so I'm kind of vulnerable to artifacts and enchantments. God, and you can even play with the Indrink Stomp Howler if you're playing some crazy control deck, but I mean, if you add both of those and add your Acidic Slimes and add your Predator, that's 5 cards that I would have to pull, and it's just getting to the point where I'm having a hard time making spots. We'll keep this going. Let's see, Slimes, Aether Mutations, I touched on those Howlers. Let's get to the Mitotic Slime. 5 mana, 4/4. This card is bugged, and it really drives me crazy. It's supposed to be 4 mana for a 4/4. Cool. When it dies, you put 2 2/2s into play, and then when each one of those 2/2 dies, you put 2 1/1s into play. It would be so cool if it worked out properly, but it doesn't. Whenever one of your 2/2 dies, it doesn't pop out the 2 1/1s. So I phased them both out. If it worked properly, I might play with them, and even that's a might, but it just seems like a great kind of like chump block, delay, slow the game, but you lose out on the 4 1/1s, so that's just a glitch, and that's messed up. I'm playing with 2 Aether Mutations, and this is kind of a clutch card. A lot of the other stuff is just surviving until you can get to late game, it feels like for me. Like, I don't even have this built as a rush deck, even if that's even feasible. It's definitely a control, more like late game kind of thing. But yeah, the Aether Mutation's 5 mana. You bounce target creature to its owner's hand. So if you want to get hectic, you can do, I think this is the only like enter the battlefield effect, besides some of the other weak 2 mana stuff. So yeah, you can bounce that if you're feeling crazy and combo-y. Normally I'm bouncing my opponent's fattest creature and getting a whole bunch like 4 or 5 1/1 saplings on my side of the field. So yeah, I almost view this as the Talrand's Invocation of this deck with a creature bounce mixed in. And then you get a whole bunch of saplings. I like it. I don't know. I might make room for the third one, but we'll see. I'm still tweaking this deck all the time. Like, I did some tweaks just before making this video. And yeah, I'm not playing with the Multani Maro Sorcerer. 6 mana, star, Shroud. Has power and toughness equal to the total number of cards in player's hand. I took him out pretty quick. And right now, I would just rather have an Overbeing of Myth because it gives you the extra card draw. So at the beginning of your draw step, you draw an additional card, and it has power and toughness equal to the number of cards in your hand. There's no Shroud, but it's 1 less mana to play. And yeah, I'm still tweaking this deck left and right. God, I wish there were more of each of these. Momir Vig, Simic Visionary. He's a legendary dude, 5 mana for a 2/2. Pray he doesn't get removed. Whenever you cast a green spell, you may search your library for a creature, reveal it, and put it on top of your library. Whenever you cast a blue creature spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it in your hand. Okay, you play this dude on turn 5. Turn 6, you want to be playing your gold creatures, and there's a decent amount of them as you scroll through the deck, because anything that's green and blue, God, on turn 6, so many games I've just gone on a looting spree of Coiling Oracles and just pulled them all out. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. I love this creature. After you get some like land presence or whatever you really needed to grab for, I just love getting all the lands and card advantage with those Coiling Oracles. Then you just tutor for every card that you want. If it stays on the board, you're going to win as you like just grab the best stuff that you need, including some... Oh, I took out all my fatty creatures. I just have a weird build going right now, but we'll keep this moving. Murkfiend Liege, something great to grab with your Momir Vig after you get some gold stuff out. 5 mana, 4/4. Greens get +1/+1 on your side. Blues get +1/+1 on your side. And kind of this cool mechanic. Untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. So every time you attack during your opponent's turn, all your stuff untaps and available for blocking. Wish there were more, but I mean, if you're playing with Protein Hulk, you can grab him. If you're playing with Momir, you can grab him. I don't know. This deck's funky. Overbeing of Myth, 5 mana, star, power and toughness equal to the number of cards in your hand, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw an extra card. It really sucks when this is the only card in your hand and you want to play it, but you know if you play it, it'll turn into a 0/0 and die. But I don't know, you just need to keep an extra land in your hand or hold on to something. Sometimes I just play this deck really fast and try to dump my hand, or I'm just playing against an aggro deck and need to do things fast. It's cool. It's a quick advantage booster. Like, drawing an extra card is always legit. Right now I'm playing with the Draining Whelk, and it's kind of like my beast fatty kill mechanism. Let's say your opponent went first, and you just let your turn 6 go. You're all untapped. It's their turn 7. You know they're going to play something fat, probably like some 7 casting cost creature, if not 6, or maybe even 8 if they had some land grabs. So you play this, 6 mana, you counter their 7 casting cost spell, and then this guy comes into play with 7 +1/+1 counters on it. It'll make people rage quit. I just wanted an extra counter spell in this deck. It's so weird that both the counter spells are creatures. That and the Mystic Snake. But yeah, it's green-blue. I mean, that kind of makes sense that all the counters are gonna be creatures too. I like it. I might end up subbing it out. I don't know. It's just nice as a late game preventing their biggest threat and giving you like your biggest threat in the game or in the deck. Okay, here's basically the backbone of my build. Jesus Christ, I love Fable of Wolf and Owl. It's 6 mana. Whenever you cast a green spell, you put a 2/2 wolf into play. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you put a 1/1 bird into play. And the way I play this deck, it just becomes this crazy combo between Fable of Wolf, Overbeing of Myth, giving you extra cards so that you're able to keep popping out tokens. If you actually get a Mercfiend Liege, they're going to be just a little bit heftier. If you get the Momir Vig, oh my god, you just route through your entire deck. I normally do the Coiling Oracles, like I said initially, just to get like more board presence, draw cards, get more lands out. And then from there, it's just insane. Okay, so Fable Wolf and Owl, let's just kind of like scroll through from the beginning. There's so much gold. Pongify is pretty cool with a Fable or two out because if they're attacking, you Pongify their biggest threat, I guess, and then it gives you a 1/1 flyer as a chump blocker too. The Coiling Oracles give you one of each, as well as the card itself. Same thing with Gaia Skyfolk, Infiltrator, Heretic. The Snake gives you one of each. These also give you one of each since they're green and blue, or like green or blue. God, they're so legit. And check it out. Yeah, it's green spells, so it even goes for like little mechanics like Snake Form. Your Aether Mutation, it just goes on and on. Alright, more stuff that I have phased out, which really hurts because most of these cards are really good. I took out the Protein Hulk right now. And think about it, man. I mean, it's cool to chump block. I love the alt text, meat and egg, sweet. And whenever it dies, you search your library for a number of creature cards with total converted mana cost 6 or less. And you put them onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. So 6 or less, I mean, you know what you want to grab from the get-go. It's worth it at 6 or less because, I mean, if you grab your obvious go-tos, your Momir or your Mercfiend Liege, that only leaves you 1 mana open. So you can't even grab like a weenie creature because there are none. You know what I mean? Because 5 + 2 is 7. Math and numbers. I mean, if you wanted to go crazy and it died, you could grab all 3 of your Coiling Oracles. It's weird how much they're my go-to. But right now my deck is almost just like a delay, chump block, try not to die, and then somehow pull off a miraculous win with Fable of Wolf and Owl. I took out the Simic Sky Swallowers too. I don't know, you can play with 2 of them. A lot of people are swearing by these, and I did have it win a couple games for me, but I don't know, it's not very fun in my opinion. 7 mana for a 6/6, flying Trample Shroud. So by the time it's turn 7, I mean, your opponent's going to have some like threats or some stuff going. It just seems kind of meh. I took out the Gigantomancer, but I can see the appeal, especially playing the Fable of Wolf and Owl deck. You can't even Protein Hulk for it, so that's kind of lame. And I don't know. I mean, if you got your Momir out, you can like do your thing and then grab him. But yeah, I took it out. It's just so weird playing with so many of these high casting cost cards and then dying early. But let's keep scrolling. Alright, I took out the Yavamaya's Embrace. 8 mana, you gain control of enchanted creature, and the enchanted creature gets +2/+2 in trample. Kind of cool. 8's a lot. You can they give you 2 of these as an option, and I took them both out. I just put in this Biomantic Mastery. I haven't even played with it yet. I just read some stuff on the forums that people were loving it, so I'm going to try it out. 7 mana, draw a card for each creature target player controls, and then draw a card for each creature another target player controls. So I only play 1v1, so it's basically draw a card for each creature on the board. And it's green-blue, so I mean, it's just like hoping to be my late game card advantage, and you're going to draw so many cards. Man, I didn't even think of how crazy this pairs with your Codals. So let's say it's like mid-ish, late-ish game, and there's like 7 creatures on the board. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. This guy's going to get +7/+7, so it's kind of like this late game hokiness, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm mostly just wanting it to pair with Fable of Wolf and Owl and being some crazy card advantage stuff. Okay, this is the reason that I played this deck initially and I took it out. Tidesprout Tyrant is so cool. 8 mana for a 5/5 flyer. Whenever you cast a spell, any spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand. I love decks where I can return everything to my opponent's hand. Oh my god, I just love the games where I'm returning my opponent's land to their hand at a rate that they can't replenish. It's just such a deliciously cheesy thing. And that's it. I mean, I'm just going to scroll through my deck and do one more last chance for tweaks before I end this vid. I don't even know what I would change right now. Let's see. I might try to put back in the groundswells just for that stall mechanic, but I don't know. I feel like I would rather have something else. It's looking fine to me right now. This is how I normally just do it. Just kind of like scroll and think like, would I rather have this card? No. You're perfect just the way you are. Alright, thanks for watching, Funkets.